freaking long time. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Fearox Frank Reviews. If you haven't seen Rex's video yesterday, let me explain. Here's the problem. Joe has been MIA for a while. We got a message from him late last night during the Devils game, and of course the game was pretty bad last night. So I actually want to bring the message. And thing is, Joe, he's accused of stealing something, but it turns out he didn't really steal anything at all. But the cops didn't want to listen to him, and because of the fact that he's wearing that black mask all the time, they assumed he was a complete criminal, so that's why he's on the run. So he's basically laying low for like the next couple of months or so. So we may not hear back from him until like maybe June, amongst all things. Great. Just fucking great. So his show's been put on hold for the time being. Until then, my show has to go on now. Yeah, the show must go on. Huh. Actually, what the hell was I going to review? I completely forgot. It's been several weeks. I totally forgot what the hell I was going to review. Really? You don't remember? It's a bad sci-fi film, Frank. You're going to review a bad sci-fi film. Well, you don't remember? Sci-fi film? A bad sci-fi film. Rex, can you be a little bit more specific? Because, dude, do you watch any of the episodes I post on the show? I mean, dude, what the shit I do is sci-fi films. Like, can you please be more specific? It says a very bad sci-fi film, as in horrible, as in one of the worst films ever made. Really bad? Really bad? No, I am not doing Ghostbusters again. No, wait. Did I already do that movie? Dude, okay, dude, come on. 2016's Ghostbusters was the worst movie ever. Why was it number one on the list on Watch Mojo's list? I will never figure it out because those guys are idiots. But I put it on the fucking list. I mean, holy Christ, that movie was just. What? Whoa. Okay, first off, no, you're not doing that film again, all right? I mean, I know you have a tendency to re-review certain movies, but that's not the movie you're reviewing. Then what's the movie I'm reviewing? What movie are you reviewing? Let me see. This one. Hello? Right. All right, fine. Hand it over. All right. Here you go. Well, Rex, go fire up some popcorn, and we're going to sit down and watch this piece of shit together. And then I'm going to review it. So, yeah. It's Battlefield Earth. Battlefield Earth. Oh, what a joy to review this piece of crap. Yeah, and I changed my outfit. I mean, I had to take a shower afterwards. I'm like, changed my outfit, shave and everything too. So, what can I say about this movie? What hasn't been said about this movie, more likely. Well, best way I can describe this film, it's okay. First off, the movie is actually based on a novelization, and they actually do have as this is one of those old DVDs with the cardboard style cover and the little plastic thing to open it up like so. It actually has a promotion to actually promote the book by L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, so it's basically the book is actually heavily based on Scientology. All right, so it's basically a Scientology style story, and from what I've heard, the book is actually good. But the movie does not take liberations from the book. Okay, it may have taken some of the some of the sources and everything, like the aliens, the time span, actually the knowledge of humans taking the knowledge from the aliens, using it against them. Other than that, the movie barely has anything to do with the novelization. And honestly, I'd much rather be reading the book than than watching this movie. So, the movie takes place in the year 3000. It's been over 1,000 years since man has lost against the invasion by the alien race known as the Cyclos. And yes, that's their name, the Cyclos. Ironically enough, the book I will give the movie credit and the production team for keeping the the Cyclos designs very similar to what they look like in the actual book. Other than that, I'm just gonna up and say this: the Cyclos are fucking morons. They've got to be the dumbest race that has ever taken us over in any film ever imagined. I mean, wow. I actually wound up getting a headache because I couldn't believe how stupid these aliens were. I mean, they were just so fucking moronically stupid. I mean, my God. Plus, I'm pretty sure that the history that the Cyclos actually had on Earth was extremely falsified, or maybe they just didn't want to explain what really actually had happened. So it's utterly ridiculous. So it's the year 3000. Man's on the verge of pure extinction at this point. And our main character that we're going to be focused on is this man right here, named Johnny. And he goes back to his tribe with some medicine to save his father. And his love interest, a girl named Christy, says, "I'm sorry, but the gods took your father in the middle of the night." Wow! We're like, not even 5 minutes in! Hell, we're not even 4 minutes in, and you dropped a bomb on us like that. Wow. So Johnny wants to venture outward from the caves and actually look for civilization and try to look for a better source of food and everything, for a better resource for his tribe and his people. And of course, the elders say that he'll attract the demons, and he's being sporadic, like, has anyone seen one? A demon, a beast. Oh, gee, I don't know. You ever heard of subtlety, shit stain? Then again, it's the year 3000. I'm guessing the word subtlety is not even part of their vocabulary. So let's just move on, shall we? So Johnny actually leaves, and he actually comes across several statues that he confuses for monsters at first, but no, they're just statues. And he comes across a couple. Two other men, two other survivors, two other hunters. Actually, the fun fact is I kind of forget what the other guy's name was. What are the odds of that actually being a thing? Oh, well. Let me just look it up real quick. Carlo. All right. No, well, the other main character's name is Carlo, and there's also a third guy named Rek. He's not going to survive, so let's just move on, shall we? They talk about gods and everything, and they see the ruins of many civilizations of one of the cities that the Cyclos have destroyed. It's been like 1,000 years, and they walk around. I'm guessing it's actually a mall because there's actually mannequins and a lot of shit everywhere. So I'm going to guess it's basically a mall somewhere. And I should mention this is in Colorado. This is also in Colorado too. As they sit down for a meal, Johnny and the big fat guy actually want to get into an argument until Carlo gets hit by one of the Cyclos with one of their ray guns, well, it's a beast. So they run, and the most slow-mo thing ever. And yeah, kind of forget to mention, most of the movie, like 90% of the movie, is at a slanted angle like this. Yeah, that's literally most of the movie. So, don't adjust your screen, folks. That's literally how the movie is like, and it's rather stupid. Rex actually hurts his leg and he gets killed by one of the cyclos, and one of the cyclos actually shoots Johnny. And he goes through like 6 panes of glass for some reason, and he gets captured. And we meet, and they take him back to the main cyclo base, which is in Denver, Colorado, amongst all things. Now, okay, the CGI is extremely dated, and keep this in mind, this is like late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. Oh, it's literally the year 2000 too, so like late 1999 too. Go figure. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's really that late in. So yeah, CGI it looks pretty. In fact, the CGI looks like something you would see normally on television, like I don't know, like maybe a Star Trek film that's actually made for television. Yeah. Actually, now that I said that out loud, I'd much rather be watching a Star Trek film that's made for television. Well, we eventually meet our main villain, played by John Travolta, our top billed actor. And his name is Turl. Yes, his name is Turl. And he's accompanied by Forrest Whitaker, who's playing Kerr. And why the fuck is he in this movie? I don't know. He's actually. Give Forrest Whitaker some credit. It looks like he's just doing it for a paycheck at this point. I mean, it does kind of suck, but to be fair, he was in the movie Ghost Dog, and that movie's fucking awesome. Actually, I'd much rather be reviewing that movie than this one. Anyway, there's actually sort of a bit of a language barrier with the movie where we actually see the cyclists talking in their own language, and they talk like. That's what it sounds like from our ears. But however, when the cyclists are talking in are mainly talking, well, it switches back over. It switches to English, and we actually hear John Travolta talking in English. Which one of you idiots is? So basically the scene goes from Johnny's perspective to the cyclist's perspective. Like, which one of you fucking idiots is the reason why this bad animal escaped? And okay, I'm not gonna lie, this movie does suck. But John Travolta is literally the only reason why I bothered to watch the movie, because his performance is just ridiculous. I mean, I would say his performance is, I'm not going to say on par with Tommy Wiseau's performance from The Room. No. I'm not going to say it's on par with that. But it's almost like but let's just say it's like halfway to being a close contender. Because, keep this in mind, at least and from the looks of it, Travolta is actually having fun with the role. And he is a Scientologist in real life. So my guess is he's basically having fun with the role. So I'll give him that much. Also, there's something else that's been bothering me too, because in fact I didn't notice it until I watched the movie again after all these years. But Turl, okay, all the cyclists' hands are 5 fingers. They all have 5 fingers, but Turl has a vestigial 6th finger like this. Yeah. So he's got a 6th finger on his right hand. I don't know why. I'm told. But okay, maybe I could be. Okay, maybe I'm over exaggerating. I'm pretty sure the novelization will explain why he has why he has a 6th finger or something. Who knows? But for some reason, his left hand actually has has 5 fingers, but his left hand has 5 fingers. His right hand has 6. It's awkward. It's weird. But I'm pretty sure the novelization explains it a bit more. Anyway, Johnny actually tried to escape by shooting one of the guards, and while Turl captures him and doesn't actually believe the fact that Johnny shot somebody. So what does Turl do? He grabs the guy's gun, he hands it to Johnny, and he tells the guy to actually take the gun away from him. But sir, he might shoot me. I'm not going to... You listen here, you little shit. I'm not going to write on the report, "Stop by man animal," unless I fucking said, "Drop the goddamn gun." And here's something that's a little funny. As he's arguing with the guy, Whitaker's character is watching Johnny fumble around with it, but he also starts to realize, wait a minute, he's starting to realize how the gun actually works. And when the guy tries to grab the gun, Johnny shoots him too. And what's Turl's reaction? Huh. I'll be damned. He actually shot him. Yeah, that's his reaction. I wonder what the fuck Travolta was on during the time he was making this movie. Either that, maybe he's just having fun with the role. Anyway, Johnny and Carl are actually starting to get used to the fact that they're actually with other humans, and he gets into a fight with somebody else, the pecking order. But now, for a fact, Johnny's trying to make sure everybody gets what they all deserve. Well, the fact that Johnny is basically trying to figure out how the hell he's going to escape. At some point, he actually does try to escape. He actually does try to escape, but unfortunately, it doesn't go that far. While that's going on, there's actually the home office from Planet Cyclo comes in to actually congratulate Turl on such a great job from security. That's a temporary position and all. And he says, "Oh, we decided to keep you on for another cycle, for another cycle or so. But this is a temporary assignment. Yes, it is. Which is why we decided to leave you on for another 6 cycles with endless for renewal." Okay, wait, time out. Is there a reason why he's still the head of security, even though this is a temporary job? And why are you guys laughing? Is this like a joke or something? And then, hold on a second. The thing is, he actually had sex with the senator's daughter, and basically the senator has deep pockets. So. You're screwed, Turl. I'm out of here. Wow, he fucked up on that one. So yeah, Turl thought he was actually supposed to he was going to leave, but no, he's stuck there. And this is actually something I'm not going to lie about, but to be fair, all the cyclos are assholes, and I'm pretty sure that most of the people, in fact, I'm pretty sure most of the cyclo characters can actually be contenders for Joe's A-list, but I'm not going to lie, they fucked up. Okay, they royally fucked up here. Right? It was at this point in the movie, the Cyclo Empire fucked up big time. They left Turl on the planet, and let's just say it's going to be their downfall. Epic foreshadowing. Yeah. Turl and Curl actually have a bit of an argument because it turns out Curl discovered something because they're actually mining the planet for gold. Yeah, gold. Go figure. So Kerr basically discovers a new gold vein, and unfortunately, well, they can't exactly get to it because it's in a highly irradiated area. But he convinces Turl that it could be something they could try doing in a sense. And of course, the main boss of the whole facility, of the whole operation, who Turl's taking instructions from, they go to a meeting with him and ask him they shouldn't ask for more men, but they can try doing something different. Basically, basic political crap here and there, arguments here and there. But Turl comes up with the idea that they could probably use the humans to mine the gold because apparently, because here's the thing, the Cyclos breathing apparatuses, because the Cyclos don't actually breathe air like we do. They actually breathe a different atmosphere. Their atmosphere is a bit more, well, a toxic atmosphere, which is toxic to us. And to them, fresh air is toxic to them. Okay? And apparently, the Cyclo's atmosphere reacts violently to various forms of radiation. So there's actually several radiation spots on the globe they can't go anywhere near. And the gold that they're trying to mine, that Claire discovers, is actually in a radiated area where there's a high volume of uranium and there's radiation in that area. Now, here's the thing: it's very toxic and lethal for them, but for us, it's acceptable levels for humans to go in there. And after 1,000 years, humanity has developed some immunity to some forms of radiation. So, yeah, they actually did develop some forms of immunity to the radiation. I mean, it's still poisonous to us, but it's actually acceptable levels of radiation for us to actually be, so they actually could live in that area. So it's acceptable levels for us to live in, but, high levels still basically kill us. So unfortunately, the head boss says no, they're not going to do it because it's stupid and it'll be the laughingstock of the universe. So Turl and Curl actually come up with an idea. They should probably look for certain humans and actually do a couple of tests on them to see how intelligent humans actually are. And of course, he actually notices that Johnny got away, so they go back to finding Johnny, and the guards are trying to kill Johnny, but Turl kills them both and actually tranquilizes Johnny. It's like, No, this human is actually remarkably much more smarter than we gave him credit for. I mean, he was able to use a gun relatively easily, but we need some leverage on him. Like, food. What's a man animal's favorite food? How the hell am I supposed to know? So, are you fucking kidding me? They don't know? So, because of the fact they actually wound up letting Johnny, Carlo, and some other guy actually run off and actually keep an eye on them, do security cameras. However, they actually find out the fact that the guys like to eat rats, but technically it was the only available food they had as an option. So, yeah, like I said, the Cyclos are real fucking idiots. They don't know jack shit about humanity. I mean, come on, if there was actually fruits or vegetables, or maybe even venison, they would go for that easily, not rats. But rats were the only thing that were readily available at the time. So, eventually, Johnny discovers the security cameras, and he decides to leave the city, that they actually were hiding in, though, which was actually Aspen. But Turl and Curl actually catch up with them, though, and they actually and they decided to do experimentations on Johnny by actually plugging him up to an educational machine and actually let him learn the language and technology of Cyclo. Kind of a bit of a problem, but at some point, Turl and Curl actually leave. Carl tries to get him away from the machine, but he tells them that it's a learning machine, that he needs to know that Johnny now wants to get rid of all the Cyclos, and now he knows what the hell they're called. So, yeah, he wants to have the machine give him as much knowledge as he can. Oh, joy. I think we all know where this is going. After a week of all this, after a week of all this, Turl gets fed up and actually throws Johnny away. But here's the fun fact. During that week, Johnny actually understood the entire language, and he was able to read Cyclo relatively easily, and some of the guys were able to actually figure out how the technology, and the other humans that he was with, like Carl and everybody else, figure out how the technology and the weapons actually work. So they decided to set a trap and actually record footage of Turl and Curl talking about the gold and actually using humans. A bit of a fun fact, Turl also did the same thing earlier with Curl, making him the scapegoat. But now Johnny did the exact same thing. He has a recording disc instead of everything. Anyway, he's about to actually shoot Johnny until Johnny actually speaks to Cyclo in front of him. And basically, Johnny gives him demands, and they all surround him with guns. Like, oh, that's amazing. One slight problem, guys. Turl actually lunges at them. They all pull the triggers. Nothing. You really think we're going to keep our guns fully loaded? And he throws them around. Well, he's surprised that Johnny was able to figure everything out so easily. So they come to a bit of a compromise where Johnny and Turl and Johnny come to a bit of a compromise where, okay, they will try to mine the gold. They'll try to mine the gold, and of course they'll give him some flying lessons. So Turl continues on the education, giving him flying lessons, and from the mine the gold. And Turl actually tells them not to do anything stupid, or he'll gun them down. While Turl was distracted, a couple of other humans as well. I'm going to call these guys the Wolf Pack, because these guys definitely are complete cavemen style. So I'm just going to call them the Wolf Pack. They attack Turl and actually tackle him down. But Johnny actually intervenes and actually tells him that he doesn't want to kill him right now. And keep this in mind, he's talking in the human language, not the Cyclo language. So he tells them that they should wait and actually and fight later on. So after some negotiation, the Wolfpack leaves and Johnny gives back the gun to Turl. But Turl actually has a surprise up Johnny's sleeve. What is it? Well, Curl comes out with Chrissy. Yeah, Chrissy actually left the village earlier, and and Turl's like, do you know this woman? Oh, really? You don't? No, she means nothing. She's the most hideous thing I've ever seen. That's real fun. You know, Johnny, that's real smart. That's really funny. But he takes out a drawing that she was holding on to her when they captured her. Turl noticed the drawing, and it looked a lot like Johnny. So it's pretty obvious who she is to you. And he has her neck wrapped in an explosive. Of course, he demonstrated the explosive on somebody else first, which is actually Mickey's brother, which is another character's name is Mickey's brother, and Okay. Now they've come to the conclusion they're going to mine the gold, and Johnny's actually now inspired by Carlo to actually continue on with his plan to wipe out the Cyclones. So, great. Before they can start the mining, Turo actually takes Johnny to the library in Denver and shows him all the knowledge that humanity had left behind. And he says, amongst all their technology and all their knowledge, and your military can put up nothing more but a measly 9-minute fight. I'm sorry, what? A measly 9-minute fight. Bullshit! Oh, God. Dude. Okay. Okay. Sure, you guys are mostly gamers, right? I'm sure you know about the 7-hour war from Half-Life. Yeah, you know the 7-hour war that actually happened between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. Yeah, the 7-hour war happened so fast that the war started and it ended within 7 hours. Yeah, it's a very hot topic that's actually in the lore of Half-Life. A 9-minute fight? That's horseshit. Yeah, I'm going to say that maybe the actual fighting took place around 9 hours because, honestly, later on you're going to understand why. So yeah, Johnny is actually left with. So Johnny and the humans are left with a ship, a cargo freighter, a cage, and the tools to actually start mining the gold. But Johnny and the others are not going to be using it for the mining of the gold. The others are going to mine for the gold while Toro keeps an eye on them. But he's going to have a camera come by, fly right by, take a photo every 2 hours or so, because Toro doesn't actually give a shit about humans. So, of course, while Johnny actually goes all over the place, looking at military bases, and of course, learning where Washington is, and of course, finding Fort Knox. I'm not kidding. They actually find Fort Knox, and all the gold is still there. The Cyclones have been mining the planet for gold, and they didn't even realize the fact that we were mining it ourselves. And they didn't know about Fort Knox, one of the only places in the world that actually has a ton of gold. I mean, granted, the Federal Reserve in New York City actually has more gold, but are they that stupid? Answer: they are stupid. Extremely stupid. And how do I know about the Federal Reserve? Oh, I went there. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, you know, the Federal Reserve that was used as the plot point in Die Hard 3 when they actually take all the gold out of the Federal Reserve. Well, here's the thing: Fort Knox actually holds all the gold from the United States, while the Federal Reserve holds the gold from other countries. Yeah. And I've actually been to the Federal Reserve in real life. Like, one of my trips to high school actually took us straight down to the Federal Reserve. I actually got to see the gold and everything, too. Wasn't able to touch it, though, because that's illegal. Plus, I was a student, so kind of obvious. Yeah. So during that time, they actually find the gold. They bring the gold over to the dig sites, and of course, Turl is a little confused about the whole why they smelted it down. And he tells Johnny he expects the rest of the gold by the end of the week. And okay, I'm not gonna lie, this part's kind of ridiculous, but Johnny, the remaining humans, and the Wolf Pack team together. They actually go to one of the military bases that are nearby, actually learn how to load guns, arm bombs, and fly planes all within a few weeks. All within less than 2 weeks. I'm just gonna let that sink in. Yeah, I mean, I could just go. I could literally go full nostalgia critic here, but no, I'm just take everything I just said and just let it sink in. Yeah, let that all sink in. I'm gonna have a drink. Let that all sink in right now. Sunk in? Okay, good. Anyway, Turo and Curl, we actually see them meaning over Cyclo Pussy. And we get to see this one girl who actually works for the main boss, and yeah, her name is Chirk, and I swear to God, I even just looked this up in the middle of the cuts, but that girl, but the Cyclo girl who's actually all over Turtle is played by his real life wife, Kelly Preston. Not even kidding. His wife actually makes a cameo in this movie as one of the Cyclo women. What? Oh, and get this. It turns out that the main boss actually has been siphoning money, has actually been siphoning most of the workers' paychecks. So yeah, Turtle actually gets rid of him. So yeah, Turtle gives him a deal and an alternative and gets rid of him. And at that point, we don't see the guy for the rest of the movie after that. So and Turtle hides some of the gold that Johnny actually mined for him too. And while this is all going on, Johnny actually wants to getting back to Denver, actually talking to Kerr, trying to get him to make a deal. So, and of course, well, Kerr is not exactly, in the mood for a deal, but eventually he listens to Johnny and they decide to make a deal for each other. All right, and eventually they come to a deal, and of course he helps him actually get the bomb off of Christie's neck, and Johnny's going to use the bomb for another purpose. And now comes the third act. The third act, where Kerr tries to blackmail Turtle, and it doesn't work out too well, and he loses his hand. Oh, gee. Well, what are the humans going to do? Well, quite simply, Johnny's actually going to. Well, Johnny wants to destroy the Cyclo home planet. They actually get enough plutonium just for a small explosive device, just a small bomb, maybe I'm going to guess maybe around half the size of Hiroshima, or maybe like a quarter the size of Hiroshima. That type of explosive, but that type of a nuclear bomb. It's small. However, if it's in the Cyclo atmosphere, it reacts violently to radiation. It should be more than enough to wipe out the whole planet. And the Cyclo planet is actually around the size of Saturn, I think. Actually, I'm not too sure. I think it's around the size of Saturn. If not, it's probably the size of Uranus or Neptune. One of those planets. Yeah, so it's either around the size of Saturn or maybe one of the other two planets like Uranus and Neptune. Or Uranus and Neptune. So nobody knows exactly the actual size, but it's much bigger than planet Earth is. And a small nuclear device going off should be more than enough to wipe out the whole planet. So the humans plan their attack. Johnny, of course, Carlo is actually going to set explosives on certain locations on the dome and actually get it to collapse. So the humans would have an advantage over the Cyclos. The humans actually start fighting off the Cyclos on the inside. Johnny actually starts to gets the teleportation device ready so they can actually send the bomb. Unfortunately, Turtle screws everything up, and well, he calls everybody and tells them, "This is Turtle, head of security. Attention, all personnel. Exterminate all man animals and be hunting." Yeah, they're basically screwed. So yeah. So the Cyclos actually had their flying devices about to shoot down humans and actually shoot down Carlo. But the Wolfpack actually have a bunch of fighter jets and actually are gunning out all the Cyclos. So, wow. So when I said about Turtle earlier, actually saying that the humans put up nothing more than a measly 9-minute fight, considering the fact that they're actually having a hard time with these weapons from the past. Yeah, I think the 9-minute fight was more like 9 hours. Seriously, it's completely ridiculous. So yeah, most of the humans are fighting off the Cyclos inside the dome. Carlo tries his best to actually blow the dome with an explosive device. The explosive only cracked the dome, so it didn't really do much of anything. So he tries to take takes his flyer and rams into the dome, only cracking the ceiling, only cracking a portion of it though, but it's still not enough. Which there's fresh air coming in, but keep in mind his flying cruiser actually has a bunch of explosive, and he's looking at it like, shit, it didn't work. Okay, the dome is cracked. I got a bunch of explosive here. I got a rocket launcher here. I'm blowing the dome! Piece of cake. Boom! He just so Carlo sacrifices himself to blow the dome, and the entire dome collapses. Like the whole thing collapses. Glass and debris are flying everywhere, and the glass is like this fucking thick. Oh yeah, starts raining down, killing most of the cyclones and killing most of the cyclones. But the humans were able to get on the ground in time. Turtle actually seeing what's happening, he actually calls the head office to tell them there's an actually calls a red alert emergency. While Johnny and Turtle actually start to fight each other, Mickey, the remaining survivor, Mickey, actually holds onto the nuclear device, actually gets on the platform, getting ready to actually set the device off and make sure the teleportation is ready. And of course, the teleportation is counting down while Johnny and Turtle are fighting. During the struggle, Johnny was able to get the explosive and put on the explosive from Christie's neck and put it on his arm, on Turtle's arm. So Johnny says, "Please, spare my woman." "Well, thank you, Rapper, for reminding me." "Trust me, you don't want to do this." "Oh, trust me, I want to." My arm! So what happened next? Mickey gets teleported straight to the Cyclo homeworld, where he's met by almost a million soldiers. They look at him, they're laughing at him, and while he's choking to death through the atmosphere, Mickey's the one who gets the last laugh, because you know what happens? Click! Boom! He sets the device off, and the entire planet explodes. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Seriously, this device was just nothing more but a quarter of the size of Hiroshima in reality, but it was more than enough to actually take out the Cyclo homeworld. So yeah, we're talking like, I don't know, maybe octillion amounts of cyclos on the planet. Gone, eradicated. I know it seems like extremely harsh that we have the extinction of an entire species, but keep this in mind: the cyclos have actually wiped out millions of species throughout the galaxy because they're selfish and they thought they were the superior race. Not anymore. Now, apparently, they've actually said something about there may be other cyclo colonies out there, but their homeworld is gone. They are now an endangered species. Back on Earth, Johnny and the rest of the humans actually detain Turtle in Fort Knox, so he's surrounded by gold. And so Turtle just mocks him and says, "Why don't you just vaporize me?" "Oh no. No, Turtle. We're using it as leverage." You see, there probably are other cyclo colonies out there. They're going to probably send their gas drones to wipe us out. However, if they learn it was your greed that actually destroyed their home world, all the credits within the universe won't even equal to the bounty they place on your head. So, okay, they're going to hold up. So, when they find out that Turtle was the reason why the whole Cyclo planet is destroyed, they're going to just give him to the Cyclos. Wow. Okay, that seems to work. Though, to be fair, the Home Office did screw up and actually left them on the planet, so yeah, that's kind of a problem. So, when you think about it, it wasn't really Turtle's fault. I mean, he was trained from birth to be the ultimate soldier to conquer galaxies, and they just left him on Earth. And because of that, his greed took over, and his greed is the reason why the planet is destroyed. Yeah, nope. They have to blame. They just blame themselves. Fuck it. So, oh yeah, Curl actually comes up behind the humans, and he yells out to Curl, "Kill them!" So Curl holds his gun and he hands it over to Johnny. He goes, "All right, here you go. I fixed the problem." I was like, "Yeah." And Turtle is like shocked about this. He's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm helping them out." So, yeah, it turns out the humans are much more smarter than you gave them credit for. And the rest of the Cyclones that are on the planet are actually working with them now, too. I mean, it's only been a few weeks, but hey, it's working out for us right now. So, are you kidding me right now? So, no. And since I'm actually the smarter and the most highly decorated officer, they named me Head Cyclo. Damn you, Curl! Damn you! So, hey, look at the bright side, Turtle. You may not be wallowing on Cyclo, but you got your gold. Yeah, the camera just zooms out with Turl inside of his cell, surrounded by all that gold. Oh, yeah. End credits. And that was Battlefield Earth. And my God, this movie was just stupid. I mean, this movie is beyond stupid. I mean, okay, like I said before, the book by Robert, like I said before, the book is a lot better from what I'm told. And if you want to actually, you know, get into this thing, read the fucking book, okay? Don't watch the movie. But let's get the movie this much. The only reason why people will bother to watch it is John Travolta's performance as the main villain. Other than that, it's really just a dumb sci-fi film that's actually considered one of the worst sci-fi films ever made. But considering the fact that over the past 20 years since the film was actually made, there have actually been worse films that came out since then. And honestly, looking back at it now, this movie is actually underrated and it's now becoming a bit of a cult classic. So, if you guys want to watch it, go ahead. But keep in mind, the movie is extremely cheesy and you'll probably laugh your ass off watching John Travolta's performance. Anyway, that's the first review I've actually done within several weeks. Tune in next time and I'll, I don't know, review something else. Anyway, this is Ferox Frank, signing out.